Hey y'all. Uh, yeah, I'm just calling my dog up there. She likes to ride on the tractor with me. I just wanted to kind of talk over, what was going on. Y'all can't hear too well when I'm just out there actually working and talking, so I thought I'd do it this way. Even though it's a four-wheel drive, it's kind of a little bit of a slope side hill, and it's a little bit wet on out, so it's the tractor, the ass end, the butt end of the tractor is wanting to slide sideways, as I'm trying to back up, and then it's wanting to tip. Got to work my way forward. Kind of tried to jockey it around to get myself lined up to get the log in position where I want there. And you can see the tires lifting up. The other way, the other tire was lifting up. Now this tire's clear off the ground. Yeah, the weight of the log there. See, Dave just pushed that end down, and the tire comes back down. Yeah, it gets a little bit tippy with this small of a tractor, but it gets it done for me. Yeah, unfortunately, I need to check the hydraulics on this thing. It should lift that log up a little bit higher, but right now it's just not wanting to pick the logs up. I can curl the bucket a little bit, but not much. So just gotta kind of work it. Unfortunately, I can't just lift it up and set it right up on top of the sawmill. Now this is after I've sharpened the blade for the first time, the bandsaw blade. First time I've ever sharpened it. So if you watch my previous video to this, I'll be sharpening it for the first time. We'll get to talking about the cutting of it. And from what I'm seeing, I don't remember if I reset the camera up so you'd have a better angle when I got to cutting or not. I don't remember that. Hopefully I reset the camera so you'd have a better angle of what was happening. And that other dog, that's Lucky. That's the friend of mine that I'm cutting a slab of oak off for him. Yeah, Stir Fry wants to get back up on there again with me. She don't like me being on that tractor without her. And thank goodness for PV bars. Those suckers are handy. If you ain't got a PV, you gotta get one. Even if all you do is cutting firewood, you put a PV jack on there and lift the log right up off the ground while you cut it up into firewood lengths so you don't rock the bar. I suppose I could play this in fast forward for you because this video is 33 minutes long or something like that. And I don't know, I just don't feel like I feel like it would kind of take away something from the video, so I decided to just go ahead and upload this in the full-length version of it. Anybody that wants to skip ahead, say, this ain't for me. There's going to be a lot of people this video ain't for, and that's cool. trying to roll the log up in place and get it situated. One of the deals that we was having is the end of the log had a little bit of a hook. Not much. I mean, it's a fairly straight log, but it does have a slight hook, and I was kind of concerned about the end of the log sticking on out past into where the track, you know, over the track where the sawmill would bump into it. So just try to position it right. No, stir fry better watch out. Lucky might become the star of this show. A little bit more practice and I'll get better at getting this thing set up and faster at cutting it, but I ain't on no time clock, so it's all about a matter of enjoying what I'm doing. I guarantee you one thing, I'm going to enjoy tomorrow. I'm going to go out and do a little bit of timber chicken hunting. See if I can get myself a couple of timber chickens, and maybe tomorrow evening I'll have a fire and do another video on out there cooking the timber chicken on out there on the fire. I need to get another fire going out there in the fire pit. Haven't done it for a couple of days, and haven't made no videos for even longer on that. I don't like to record all my fire pit side stuff. I mean, it's, you know, fireside, you know, sometimes you just got to have that alone time with that fire and just sit back and chill out and meditate. One mistake that I did here was I forgot to, when I did finally get to cutting on this log, I forgot to back the tractor up. And the sawmill started bumping into the forks on the tractor. Getting in too much of a hurry. You know, this smoking, I just got to say, my smoking has done a lot of, it's cut a lot of oxygen to my brain, and I just don't think the way that I used to. I'm not a fast thinker anymore. Believe it or not, yeah, I used to be able to think fairly fast, but no more. This is the first time I even previewed the video, so I don't even know how it is. I'm just shooting from the hip on this. Bunch of decrepit old farts out there, wouldn't you say? Dang, they're slow. There I am with the Crest L5. My other buddy that's there, he's scheduled for a knee replacement here in a month or so. And the other friend of mine that we're cutting this board for, he's a Vietnam vet. Served three tours in Vietnam. Yeah, the guy walking behind the tractor right there. He's a pretty cool dude. I'm going to get him up by the fire one of these evenings and have a chat with him. You guys would love to hear his stories. That guy is so awesome, and he can tell a lot. He don't talk about much unless you get him in a mood. You got to catch him just right. But he don't talk about Vietnam. But he's got a lot of good stories in life. The guy's amazing. He's a master millwright, and has applied his knowledge to a whole lot more in his personal life. I'd say his name, but I don't have his permission, so I ain't going to tell you any more than that. I do have permission for them to be on video, though. It looks like I'm cut, but I haven't. You're gonna notice that I'm gonna end up bumping into the forks here pretty quick. Now I gotta say that the sawmill was cutting rather good. I'm just kind of watching things. Is why it's going so slow for right now. But it was cut really good. But like I was describing on the other video, and it's obviously you can't see it on here. That 1 foot of blade where I knocked the teeth down a little bit short. Yeah, here's Dave. He's going to back that up for me because I'm hitting on the forks. Anyway, where I cut a foot of blade, the teeth are a little bit shorter. It was cutting really good, but that little flat spot, when it get in there, then it get to the next tooth beyond that, it'd make the log jump. Yeah, I'd get a lot of shake, a lot of vibration from it. The cuts when I got all done, and stuff, they turned out good. I mean, everything was square and everything. But it was a bit nerve-wracking, having that log shake like it was. Let's see if you can see. These first few cuts you're going to see when I'm getting at the far end of the log, that they get narrower. The cuts are, so it's not shaking. It's mainly at this end. My last cut or two on this log, when I actually get to his 2-inch slab that I cut him, it was shaking most of the way through because it had a wider cutting surface. I wish I'd have gotten the camera up closer so you all could see when I'm cutting. It shaking and stuff, and see what I'm talking about. And it wasn't a continuous shake. It was like an off and on, in rhythm. Just like it was a certain section of the blade that was causing it to happen, which I'm presuming was that 12 inches of teeth that I ground down a little bit too short. Now, hopefully anybody on out there that knows sawmills, these type of sawmills can, maybe even give me more pointers and clues or whatever about sharpening these things. Because it seems to me like the best way, and I haven't tried it, I'm thinking about trying this next time I sharpen it, is not just touch up the backside of the blade like everybody does. I'm thinking about maybe even do a light tap on the front of the tooth. I don't know. What's everybody's thoughts on that? On the people that know. I mean, if you ain't done this before, you know, you can give your opinion, but please say that you haven't done this before. Because we all have opinions on how things should be done, even if we haven't done it. I know I do. And some of those opinions are good, whether they be mine or somebody else's. So, you know, I don't want to shut people's opinions out, but I would like to know really from people that have experience with this. Smoking's glamorous, folks. Yeah, I should have gotten the camera up a lot closer. Yeah, that old boy there, the one that I told you, served in Vietnam 3 tours and stuff. He built little covered wagons. He does little blacksmithing, makes knives. He does all this stuff for himself. He doesn't sell nothing or anything. He just likes tinkering with all this stuff. He's a master mechanic, a master welder. I mean, the guy's awesome. That guy is so talented. I just wish he didn't have his dang pacemaker, you know, to where he could be around welders and teach me. That guy is a master welder, but he can't be around welding anymore because of his pacemaker. You know, there's a number of things he has to watch on that. Any exertion, and man, he passes out on the spot. I mean, he drops like a rock. So I have to really watch him that he doesn't try to do anything per se. I mean, I don't want to stop him from doing anything, but I gotta watch him and make sure that he doesn't overexert himself. You know what I had planned on doing is I had planned on just slapping it on down until I had the right width board for them. I hadn't planned on squaring up the log and stuff, but being that I was getting so much vibration because of the way that I sharpened the blade, I decided to go ahead and roll it and square it up to where when I did get his final cut, I wouldn't have to worry about the shaking of the log anymore. I know this video, these last couple of videos are going to be kind of boring. I'm just putting these 2 videos on out to let people know the mistakes and the consequences of those mistakes that I have made, so future people will have a better idea what to look for to help prevent this from happening. But don't be afraid of making these mistakes either. Running this bandsaw is actually quite enjoyable. It's peaceful, it's relaxing. It gives me a pleasure that I just can enjoy when the weather is right. I can't wait to get to going on building the roof, the pole barn roof structure to put it under. So when it's rainy out, if I want to get on out there, I want to have it under a structure where I can run it during the winter time, as well as I want to get a wood stove on out there. So if it's winter and it's cold, I got something to warm up by. And the structure is going to be big enough for me to park my Kubota tractor in. And also it's going to be big enough to park my six-wheeler in. And I'm sure I'm going to make room for my daughter's two four-wheelers. Be nice to get all that stuff out of the weather. We get a lot of rain here in Oregon, and it ain't good for all this stuff be sitting out in the rain all the time. Yeah, I sure wish I could have gotten the camera a lot closer, where you guys could have seen that log shaking though, especially before I squared it up. But even after I got it squared up, it was shaking it a little bit. And that was even with putting my wedges in, and when I had the round side down. One of these days I'll have to show what I do with the wedges, how that works. And it does help. you don't have to rely so much on the clamps as much on the clamps. You still have to use the clamps, but the wedges help a lot too. Yeah, I've already pretty much accumulated the stuff to build a completely new track. I'm thinking about taking this track here and turning it into a mobile track. Put it into a trailer, on a trailer, put it on wheels and a trailer tongue on there. And I've accumulated a 60-foot motorhome frame that's in really good shape. And I'm going to remodify that to where I'll be able to throw a 60-foot long log on there if I wish. Now that thing won't be mobile, it will be right in the pole barn. But I'll be able to cut some really long logs with it. And I'm thinking that when I set that up, that I'm going to make another band sawmill that will cut up to 5-foot wide logs. Because I do get opportunities to cut big old growth here. And there is not any, all the sawmills that we have around here that used to cut the big trees like that, they've done away with those sawmills. They got rid of that. They're set up for cutting the small, I call them pecker poles. They're only like 24 inches on the base and stuff. Little tiny trees. But all of our sawmills have sized on down because there's not enough of the big trees anymore around here. So the sawmill's set up for smaller trees. But there's people that like that big old timber, and there's some of it around. And I think if I build myself a sawmill that will cut like a 5-6 foot tree, I can get some custom orders with that. And then you can make, there's no money into cutting timber like this here and cutting boards for people. There's not much money into it. I mean, yeah, you can make a few dollars doing this. But if a person wants to make money, you got to be able to do custom stuff. And a lot of custom stuff has to do with the size of what you're cutting. Because, let's face it, folks, it's the big trees that has the good quality lumber. Not that I ever plan on doing this for a living. It will always be a hobby. I want to keep it that way. Yeah, Stir Fry out there supervising the job.
Anybody can build square and you drew and stuff. I mean, perfect. Make it look like it's perfect. No, I don't build. Okay, go with it now.
I'm already 30 minutes on into it. Yep. The end is only like 3 more minutes away. I'd cut this video on short. And I probably should have cut the middle of this video on out to shorten it up, but I didn't. It is what it is. But I do want y'all to see the end. I think it gets a fairly close shot to where you can see the slab that we pulled off. It was only like 2 inches thick and 8 feet long. And it was about 14 inches wide, roughly. I'm hoping it gives you a good shot of what the board turned out looking like. There's one slice where I first started slicing into the log. And when we discovered that it needed to be rotated. My wife and daughter's home. But anyway, you know, so there's a little slice on the edge, and when we rotated the log that we didn't cut all the log through. It was a mistake. Now, just to make sure that I get this on here, folks, just remember, if the girls can't find you handy like me, let me rephrase that. Just remember, if the dogs can't find you handy like me, they can find you handsome like me. And if Stir Fry can't find you handsome like me, just pray that she finds you. Y'all come back now, you hear?
Is Eddie home?
I don't know, probably.
But you ain't getting out of there by yourself.
Huh?
You ain't getting out of there by yourself.
Oh, I'll just take my tractor. Pick it up.